when you got to get creative to pick something up. Front half is supported by the skid steer. Second half is supported by the excavator. Got the pallet out. Now I'm going to set it on the ground.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach and welcome to the shop here. And this week we are going to talk about my bandsaw. This is a 1995 PEERLESS, what is the model? VB-1820. It's a really neat old hydraulic bandsaw that I got from Bullseye Industrial Sales in Middlebury, Indiana. They're up near the Michigan border there. There are a couple of industrial surplus places up there that has all kinds of neat stuff, and I ended up buying this guy from them. One of the cool things about this saw is it is hydraulically actuated. So you can come in here and take a look. This is really neat how all this works. So you've got a hydraulic pump down here in the bottom, reservoir down there, and then you've got a bunch of hydraulic solenoids here. Now when I bought this saw, I actually didn't realize this was hydraulic because I had never seen hydraulic hoses that were just this clear poly stuff. But as you can see here, you've got a hydraulic cylinder that slides the bandsaw portion back and forth. You've got a hydraulic vise. And the really cool thing about this is you have a hydraulic tilt mechanism. So this will tilt left and right 45 degrees hydraulically. So it's really nice. You can just be at the operator station there, flip the switch and hit the button, and the whole head will tilt back and forth 45 degrees. So one of the downfalls to a saw like that, or really any industrial tools, is you need the power to run it. That saw in particular runs off 480 volts three-phase exclusively, so you need the power to run it. Now I have some other tools in here that run off 240 three-phase, which is fairly easy to get. So I have an American Rotary 15 horsepower phase converter, and so we'll go ahead and start that up. And then I put an indicator light on there just so when I'm in the shop here I know if my power's on. Now I have a disconnect here that controls my 240 volt outlets around the shop here for my iron worker, my cold saw, my welders. And so that'll flick them on. And then I have to step that 240 volts up to 480 volts. So I have a transformer down here that takes that 240 volts three-phase and steps it up to 480 volts for my saw. And then a lot of times I'll run my welders off of it if I'm really running them hard, because they seem like they kind of work a little better off 480. So we'll flick that on, and we'll go over and check out the saw. All right, so now that we have the saw powered up here, I want to show you guys the controls and how you operate this saw. So it's pretty simple, although it does take a little bit of getting used to. So you've got your hydraulic pump start and stop here. So now you hear the hydraulic pump running. So now we'll go ahead and clamp this piece of unistrut in here and just show you how to cut something with it. So this movable part of your jaw here just rides in a track. So we'll go ahead and slide that up. Now I have the vise open and close hydraulically here. So you can move this, you can move this track back and forth here hydraulically. So now we're good and snug in there. You can tilt your head left and right here with the hydraulics. So you can tilt it left and right. Now there's a gauge on the back here that shows what 0 and 45 degrees looks like. All over the paint's kind of worn off of it, so it's kind of hard to tell. So I just use a square to kind of check my angles here. So we'll go ahead and just bump it a bit. Right there looks pretty good. Now you can go ahead and cut 45 plus or minus. Unfortunately it doesn't go anything past 45, which actually would be a little handy, but it lets you cut nice miters like that real easy. So we'll go ahead and show you how to actually operate the saw here. So you have to have the vise closed to be able to turn the saw on. So our vise is closed, our hydraulic pump is on, our coolant is on, so you can turn the flood coolant on and off, which is one of the reasons I bought this saw, because I cut a lot of stainless steel and I wanted to be able to run flood coolant. Now we'll go ahead and start our blade. Now you can vary the speed of the blade with this control here, so you can go all the way down or you can go way up. I've never run it that high. I usually run it about 40%, something like that. Now the nice thing about this is it's hydraulically actuated, so we can just go ahead and hit advance and the saw will feed itself. So you can walk away and go do something else here in the shop and just let it cut whatever you want to cut. Now that we're through, you can pause the advance with this button here, and you can hit retract. It will shut off the blade and retract to the home position. And now you're ready to go ahead and unlock the vise and put a new piece of work in there. So really a handy saw. I really like the way this works out for use in the shop here. I've got some big rollers. I can set up an in-feed and out-feed table here. I've got enough room in the shop here where I've got 20 foot to my door there, and then I got enough room for, I don't know what it is that way, but about 20 foot to the back wall there. So I can cut pretty much whatever I want. Really nice for pipe like this. You get it up there, you can miter it. This is going to be a base for a pump for a food production plant, and I'm just going to go ahead and miter all the parts there. And yeah, so nice addition to the shop here. I ended up picking this guy up, like I said, from Bullseye Industrial there. I ended up paying $6,500 for it. I think it was about $6,800 with sales tax. So it's an expensive piece of machinery, and it does take up a lot of room in the shop here. The amount of room it takes up is really kind of the only thing that I'm not super happy about. I would have liked to have gotten a little bit smaller one. If you look at the Marvel Series 3 bandsaws, they take up a little less room. However, they're a lot more money. Used, they're $10,000 to $15,000 in similar shape, and if you get a really nice one, you're looking at 20,000 bucks. So for what it is, for what I paid for it, I'm real happy with it. If you can find one of these guys used, I would not hesitate to pick one up. I believe the company is still in business. I haven't tried to get parts for it or anything like that. Now I will say, when I moved this, I ended up breaking the casting on, or that holds the tilt for the head here. Let's go over and take a look at what it ended up doing. So this casting back here is kind of the weak point of this saw. So you have a worm gear here that controls the tilt of the head. Now, like as you can see, I fixed this guy here, and it looked like it had been fixed at some point before. When I moved this, I did not strap or block the head down. So that was definitely on me. I should have done that, and I didn't. So really, if you're moving one of these guys, I would put some blocking under here to keep the head from bouncing around and breaking that casting. Other than that, it's a great saw. At some point, I may build another one of those. I guess a tilt bushing, I don't know what you call it. I'll probably end up building another one of those, or I might see if I can buy one from the company there. But that seems to be the weak point of this saw so far. Great saw, real happy with it. I'm Darlington Farm. Thank you for watching. Hey, American Rotary, I got one of your phase converters here. You guys want to sponsor the channel?